Okay, we are at the orienteering relay, roughly halfway through stage F. Teams have dropped their bikes at checkpoint 52. They've checked in with race staff, and they have started to figure out what is one of the bigger strategic puzzles of the race. The orienteering relay is an homage to Grant Killian and Untamed New England. Untamed was an iconic expedition race that ran 6 or 7 times over the course of a decade or so, and Grant always loved to include an orienteering relay somewhere in the midst of the course. So, to honor Untamed New England, we have integrated this into the 2025 Endless Mountains. This is a multi-sport relay. So teams are going to arrive and they're going to find there are 4 courses, 4 different courses here to complete. 2 are must be completed by bike and 2 must be completed by foot. There's a long and a short version of each of those 2 disciplines. So the first thing they have to do is figure out who's going to do what, okay? As noted, it's a relay, meaning they have to go out by themselves. The navigation isn't terribly difficult in that most of the checkpoints, I think all but 1 checkpoint, are really hung right on the side of a trail or very close to one. There's a lot of racers here that either have very little or no real navigation experience, and we're roughly 4 to 5 days into the race. So for a lot of teams, that fatigue is piled on, and for those less experienced navigators, we don't want it to be too tricky. That said, as the teams have found out, Vermont's mountain biking parks are relatively well mapped, but not 100% updated or accurately mapped. Or they are, but there's just a lot of other trails and tracks cutting through these parks. This is no different. My partner and teammate and wife, Abby, came out and actually scouted the checkpoints on this course. I am out physically setting these points before the race starts, and I have gotten pretty turned around a couple of times using the trail map that the teams will use. Nothing I couldn't figure out, but again, I am not 5 days sleep deprived, and I am comfortable with maps. So this could be quite the challenge for some teams. Back at checkpoint 52, there's an entirely different strategic calculation happening. So the teams that are back behind are, basically hunkered down at the Craftsbury Outdoor Center, which is an iconic Northern New England athletic training institute. They have a reputation for churning out Olympians, primarily in cross-country skiing. In the summertime, it's a multi-sport mecca. Highly recommend that you stop by if you're in Northern Vermont. For our racers, they are maybe trying to figure out how to get a little bit of sleep. A lot of teams will probably be here for at least a few hours. So it's a good opportunity for those who aren't out running to get some sleep, but you have to figure out who's the most tired. Would someone benefit from going out first and then coming back and sleeping for 3 chunks? Would someone be better off sleeping 3 chunks and then waking up, maybe being a bit groggy, but maybe being a bit fresher and then go out? There's also going to be the opportunity, of course, to hydrate and eat. We are, again, in honor of Grant Killian and Untamed, going to be serving folks pancakes, as Grant did with his pancake houses. So there's a lot going on. It's also a wonderful opportunity for teams just to slow down, check in with each other, swap stories, and have a nice social moment, community moment in the middle of the race. One final thing to, I think, keep in mind, while teams are not allowed to help each other within the team, once they leave checkpoint 52, they have to go by themselves. There's nothing in the rules that says they can't work with someone from another team. So this is something that often happens in orienteering relays and adventure races, is you get folks sometimes even pairing up from the beginning, but often crossing paths with each other out in the woods and working together, especially if they are a bit disoriented. So that will be a final thing to watch. Once they're done here, they're back on their bikes and they continue on their journey north to Jay Peak for one big final physical challenge, at least on their legs, before they enter the home stretch of the race.